So in class one day, I was just minding my business, marking my notes, and someone spoke about a child who hugs the aunt even before the mom. Like if the aunt and the mom sits together, that child would first hug the aunt before the mom. And then the person quickly added that the aunt is stricter than the mom. Like the mom pampers him, and the aunt does not really pamper him as such. So I'm like, why? Why? Why is it that? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Banjo Faith. If you're seeing me for the first time, in today's video I would be giving my own thoughts on my own view, creating an illustration or scenario on why children tend to get closer to harsher parents in quotes. Now I'm putting in quotes because there's some harshness that will make a child run away even as an adult, but why children would rather go close to a harsher parent than the ones who seem very soft. And here's my scenario. Now this idea I didn't pick in any book, I did not read it anywhere. I think I'll just say it's the wisdom of God, but it's not a philosophy or some strict rule attached to it, right? And here's the illustration. Now imagine you put, I wouldn't say a human being now, but let's just say you put a human being or maybe an animal in a box. For that person or thing to feel safe, now this box of course has a covering and has the four walls around and has something under it. Okay, now for you to be sure, now let's just say it's a human being because it will be someone who can reason and think, and animals also do that. So whichever one, for that person to feel safe, what do you think the person will do? The person will push the box, push this side, touch it and make sure it is firm, touches it a little and sees that okay, it seems firm, pushes it harder. Is it firm enough? If there's this harder grip on it, will it stay? And pushes it more. Okay, if that part doesn't fall, he moves to this part and pushes it and pushes it. Okay, that part does not fall out, turn to this side and does the same thing round, and then touches the top too. Am I sure this place is safe and secure for me to stand? How about the floor? Is it okay? Now I hope you're following this illustration. What that person is trying to do is just to make sure that this place is safe enough for me to really balance and sit in. After doing that, yes, the child or that person is now rest assured that okay, this space I have been put in is safe. Simple and short. So this illustration has, it took me back to that child who would rather hug the harsh auntie than his first before his mom. And I'm like, okay. And I think I must have read a book that said children test boundaries, right? They want to know that they are secure, they want to feel safe, they want to know that they are safe around their parents or around whoever it is that is a caregiver. And I'm like, okay, this illustration seemed to go well with that idea, and I think I agree with that. Whoever it is, we want to feel safe. And how do you test that something is solid? It is by hitting it. You don't test something that it is solid by pampering it. You actually subject it under intense pressure. And guess what? That's what our children are doing to us. Oh my God, they are testing your boundaries. They are not being annoying. They act annoying, but their intention is not to annoy you. Ooh, I feel like I'm saying this to myself too, right? The intention is not to annoy us. The intention is to know if they can trust us. And trust me, children, they give us 101 chances every day to prove that to us. They forgive you if you make a mistake, and that's why I'm like, okay, thank God, we don't have to be perfect immediately. We just working towards perfection. And that's why even if you overlash on a child today, the child will still come back to you tomorrow. He's giving you another chance, right? So don't be harsh on yourself. Okay, Faith, don't be harsh on yourself. Yeah. At the same time, when there is a boundary, when a parent fixes a boundary on, I don't know how else to put it, and that's the word discipline, really. If you are a disciplined person, you do not bend your standards, right? This even comes down to you as an individual. So if you're someone who would not bend your standards for anybody or anything, even for that child, you have standards, you have values, and you're like, okay, you don't use foul language in this house. If that is an example, right? You don't use some type of English in this house. Maybe you heard it from someone, that child comes home and says it, and you're like, I said we don't use such language, okay? Now, the first time you teach your child, okay, we don't say this, rather say this, say it like this, okay, repeat after me, and that child says it. The next time the child comes, you says it again, you repeat, you teach the child will still come, and sometimes we use that language again, or whatever habit or attitude the child will bring, just to be sure that unconsciously in that child's mind, the child is testing, can I be secure here? Can I be safe here? Same with don't touch this thing. Do some rules that that they are not bendable. They are not. There are some things that you cannot. Or even strapping yourself in the car seat. Let me see if I will be able to get away with it today, because I really don't like this thing. When you are firm consistently, the child keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and he sees that this person is not going to budge. He will trust you, really. That child will trust you and will feel more secure with you. Now, that's why I put that harsh in, quotes, because harshness can go overboard. God will give us wisdom to know the the boundary between harshness and then being too soft. But just be firm with your values, and that child will definitely find you as a safe spot to stay in. And this is discipline in another light. Okay, when that illustration came to my mind, I'm like, okay, so this child is testing my boundary. I would like to note out here that there are some things that are not worth the fight. Like, there are some things you just know that, okay, values are values. There are some things that cannot bend. You have to just do it. And there are some things that, okay, you can do away with it. So if you would want a child right now to get away with something, if you allow a child to get away with something now, and tomorrow you don't allow that child get away with it, and then the next day the child does not get away with it, and the next day the child gets away with it, the child would keep on testing that boundary until he's sure of where you stand, or she is sure of where you stand. So be consistent. And this is hard, really, because there are sometimes you're not in the mood. Oh my God, you're not in the mood. Yesterday night, my daughter, we do this devotion every night where we read the Bible story, every the same Bible story for a month. We just keep reading it and saying it again. And yesterday I was so tired. I just wanted them to lie down and sleep. So I laid down with them, and my daughter was like, let's read our Bible story. I'm like, okay, lie down, let's read it lying down. And she was like, Mommy, sit down. And she started crying. I was tired. So it's hard. It's hard. But God's grace is sufficient for us. Just try as much as possible to be consistent as much as possible. Sometimes we may not meet up, but just be consistent. Thank you so much, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments as usual. Please keep your comments rolling so we'll all learn from each other. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. If you haven't yet, please do well to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell beside you so that you know when I upload a new video. Until next time, see you. Bye.